Hello, I'm Mallory Marshburn,
And I'm Kelsey Bradford.
and today we're going to discuss with you the Beech Mountain Recreation Needs Assessment. The purpose of doing a needs assessment for the Beech Mountain Recreation Department is to correlate our needs assessment with David Putnam, who is Beech Mountain's Recreation Program Coordinator, to ultimately provide feedback, constraints, and ideas to present and future recreation programs.
So there are many reasons why we did this needs assessment. The four main reasons were to learn more about what our community's needs are, to get more group and community support for the actions we will soon undertake, to make sure any actions we eventually take are in line with the needs of our community, and to get more people involved with our recreation department. The survey was intended to touch on a few important topics and objectives. These include to identify the town parks and recreation facilities most commonly visited, to identify the participation levels in recreation and fitness programs at Beech Mountain, to identify constraints and limitations that the community of Beech Mountain may endure and solutions to these constraints and limitations, to identify the needs for parks and recreation facilities and fitness programs, and finally to identify different demographics that participate in the recreation program at Beech Mountain. So prior to our survey construction, we discussed amongst ourselves and with the town of Beech Mountain the most effective method for a needs assessment. Some of the year-round residents are older and do not have access to computers or have an email account. So this was the most major factor in contemplating how to send out our survey. A large percentage of residents at Beech Mountain are part-time or seasonal, and there's only a small population of about 120 people during the winter months, and it gets up to about 900 people during the summer. Since we have to have the survey reach 900 people, we felt that email was still the best option because a majority of the members do have an email account. Mailing out a paper survey to 900 people located around various parts of the United States and North Carolina would have been too time-consuming and costly. The survey was sent out to 900 people and we received 128 responses. The survey was 14 questions and included both qualitative and quantitative questions with a heavy emphasis on the first. The survey took about 5 to 7 minutes to complete.
Our results were very beneficial to the Recreation Department and ourselves as they provided a benchmark, feedback, and ideas for future and present recreation programs and facilities. Within the left graph, you can see the program that people participate in the most is the group and fitness classes. The women participated in the most with 35.7%, and the men participated the most in the special events with a high of 33%. On the right graph, the participation for men is rarely seen at Beech Mountain Rec Services with 63.4%, and the women are often seen there with 34.8%. On the following graphs, you can see that the visitation is a few times a year, but the weekly correlation is 19 to 20%. So the weekly correlation we're going to focus on the most and try and incorporate more visitation within those programs. On the bottom graph, we have hiking trail visitation, where 42% and 38% visit it a few times a year, whereas weekly is 12 and 17%. We want to get those numbers up high by enhancing our trails and incorporating more participation. In the other programs, we got a multitude of answers where their favorite programs were the hiking trails, group exercise classes, and special events, as enlisted within these graphs. The most common constraint for residents in participating in our programs and services are their age. There are multiple of health concerns with people, which can limit their access to the Beech Mountain Recreation Department and the hiking trails. The drive can be too long for people, and as most people live outside and are only here part-time residents, we can see that that is a constraint as well. The location is far from Beech Mountain. It is about a 20-minute drive from the center of the town. The hours are also a constraint. The exercise group classes end at 5 p.m., and if they were to increase those hours, we would get more participation by more of the full-time employees of Beech Mountain. The satisfaction with the recreational efforts is very high with the residents, and that is in question 9 of the survey. 37% said they were mostly satisfied with the special events, 34% were satisfied in the rec program, and 37% in the resident services. And we asked the residents if they were to receive $100 to fund a program or service within Beech Mountain, they would put the money into the hiking, biking, and nature trails, and they would also fund an indoor and outdoor pool, and the parks as well. Most people are providing more variations in exercise and group classes among the choices of CrossFit, silver sneaker classes to incorporate the people who have health concerns and to get the program beneficial to them, self-defense, and golf strengthening. The residents had high satisfaction in the cleanliness, the staff, and the staff knowledge, as well as their performance. And the last question was a demographic question. 50% of residents do live there part-time, 34% are year-round, and 15% are visitors. So incorporating all those residents with programs, most for their needs will be best for our participation.
So after going through and analyzing our results, we came up with 3 major conclusions from our research. According to the results, 50% of residents at Beech Mountain are either part-time or seasonal. Within that statistic, 56 of the part-time residents that responded to our survey are female. This shows that either the majority of the residents are female or it was mostly females of the household who responded to the survey. The results also found that most of the residents would spend funding on an indoor pool or trail enhancements. The last conclusion we found was that the Buckeye Recreation Center is used more frequently over hiking and biking trails, picnic shelters, and the playground. This may be due to the fact that it can be used all year round as opposed to the outdoor facilities that are used much less frequently during the winter months. With all of these conclusions, we came up with 3 recommendations that go along with each conclusion. With half of the residents being part-time or visiting seasonally, Beech Mountain should enhance their programs and special events to pertain to those residents. The most preferred programs are outdoor exercise classes and fitness classes. The most common recommendation amongst our respondents was a more variety among the fitness classes. A fundraiser to raise money for an indoor pool would be a good idea because that could also improve the fitness classes and bring more variety in as well. A lot of the residents at Beech Mountain are older, and so some aerobics classes in the pool and maybe some swimming lessons for children would bring a more variety of age groups and would be a good idea to bring more people in. As for trail enhancements, there are a lot of mentions that there need to be more benches along the trails, so maybe having a fundraiser or supply drive where people bring in a bunch of wood to make benches, etc. Getting more benches are in the best interest of Beech Mountain so that the older people are still able to use the trails, and you can increase community involvement by adding like building more benches and stuff. There was also mention that there should be a weekly hiking club about 2 times a week where you can just gather around and get around people that you may not know and you can get to know better. Maybe go outside and get active by hikes or maybe just planning out how to make the trails better. So this would increase community involvement by adding these kinds of clubs, and the clubs could enhance social interaction amongst the members as well as get more people involved with Beech Mountain Recreation Department.
If we were to conduct this survey again, the things we would change would be the answer choices. We provided too many answer choices, which made the data confusing in analyzing it in Excel. We also would have had to get it proofread by Dr. Rabinowitz one more time prior to sending it out to the 900 residents of Beech Mountain. Question 14 had too many answer choices and options. That was the demographic question, which we found very confusing in analyzing in Excel as well. It was difficulty graphing it as SurveyMonkey did not graph it for us, and so it was difficult for us to understand it as well as explain it within our project. We could have had better answer choices to clarify the results and to better understand the data as mentioned earlier. And this is all the information we got from our data. We hope that this helps Beech Mountain Recreation Department, and thank you for your time.
Thanks.